Hi everyone, it's Ellie from the Curious Geographer. Welcome. Today is super exciting. We are going to be speaking to the University of Manchester about their fantastic geography degree and all the options they offer. So I'm really looking forward to this. If you haven't already had a look at the live events, I mean, we've gone through loads of these, but there is a QR code for past events and also future ones. So definitely check that one out. So as I said, today we're joined by Professor James Evans, who's the head of department and is going to tell us all about Manchester and studying there as for a geography degree. So Professor James Evans, would you like to first of all introduce yourself to us and just tell us a little about your role and also your area of interest as a geographer?
Thanks, Ellie. Thanks for inviting me on here today, and hello to everyone out there watching The Curious Geographer. Yes, my name is James Evans. I'm a professor at the University of Manchester Geography Department. I'm also currently head of department. So I'm looking forward to telling you a bit about what makes our department special and a great place to study and hopefully taking a few questions later on. Just a little bit about me, how I came to be a geographer and what I do now. Um, I was quite interested in the science side of the discipline. Most of my A levels were science A levels. I did a geography degree and became interested in economics and sociology, and did a PhD around environmental sustainability, particularly in cities. Um, and essentially, my research has developed out of that. And it really is that realization that I came to, I guess, that if you're interested in the planet and sustainability and climate change, we really need to be focusing on cities. Um, Most people live in cities. Cities create most of the pollution. Um, and so, if we're serious about fixing a lot of the problems facing us as a species, we need to start building cities in better ways, more sustainable ways. So, my work's really looking at how different cities around the world are trying to do that and how they're learning to do it in a better way.
That sounds really interesting, and I know a lot of students study urban environments as well for their A level and also at GCSE. So maybe we could get you on again to do a live interview, actually more about your study or interest, which would be really good. So the big question: why should students study geography as a degree? But particularly, why should students study geography at Manchester?
Well, I mean, I think everyone on here is hopefully aware geography is clearly the most useful discipline available to us. It's one of the only disciplines that looks at both the physical side of the world and the social side of the world. And of course, whatever you're interested in at the moment, whether it's inequality, whether it's climate change, whether it's the role of new technology, you have to have both sides of the understanding of the human experience. And only geography does that. What do we do at Manchester? I think we've got quite a distinctive department and a very distinctive student experience. We're one of the oldest departments in the world. We celebrated our 125th year anniversary a couple of years ago. Um, we're lucky to be located in the city of Manchester. We have a beautiful campus, a variety of older buildings, newer buildings, great facilities. But really, we feel quite intertwined with the city. And Manchester was the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. It's been a forerunner in terms of the development of new technologies, the invention of the computer, but also on the social side as well. Women's vote, social movements, the idea of cooperatives was born in Manchester. Um, and this kind of social inspiration, the innovative spirit, the kind of focus on action, activism, doing things, making a difference, that comes from the city of Manchester really permeates the university as well. And I hope the geography department too. And we have quite a large staff body of about 40 staff now, highly international. Um, and one thing that breadth gives us is really whatever topic, whatever part of geography you're interested in at Manchester, you'd be able to pursue it. Um, and what sets us apart? Well, it's research-led teaching. So our program is designed to give you a lot of choice and provide courses that really focus on what each member of staff is researching now. So these are world-class researchers. They're doing things no one else in the world is doing. So our view is that's what we should be teaching people who come and study with us. We should be taking them right to the cutting edge of research in geography, and you'll be learning stuff that you wouldn't be able to learn anywhere else. That distinctive student experience we have, we're the only course in the world, I think, to have a pre-program field course. I might talk a bit about that later, where we take our new students away before the program's even started. We also have strong links with A-level geography. Our staff are heavily involved in A-level geography. We have great career prospects. So the university is, I think, the top-rated university amongst graduate employers. But I think the most important thing for me is the friendliness of the department. And that's something I noticed when I first joined about 13 years ago now. Staff and students really work very closely together. We run joint socials together. This year, for example, we've been working really closely with our students to try and understand how best to handle the impacts of COVID, and moderate workflow, tweak online teaching, bring in no disadvantage policies. And that's something we're extremely proud of.
Everything looks so interesting from like the department and also like the photos of kind of the social side as well. So a really fun but also exciting place to kind of the front end of research to study for geography. And what I was actually saying earlier, but the people watching don't know, is that someone I actually taught last year for A-level has started a degree in Manchester. And what I was really impressed with was how many options there were when studying. So the kind of, and we're going to talk about that next. So the kind of BA or BSc and a bit about the year abroad as well. And actually there is a range of different topics that students can get involved with and really pick a course which is tailored to what they're interested in. So would you mind telling us if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about what are the options for a degree at Manchester, and if possible, could you give us an overview of the courses or what students might expect to study?
Yeah, of course. And thanks for that intro, Ellie. So there's a BA and there's a BSc, and you can come in on either. Which one should you do? Well, the good news is with us, we don't force you down one path or the other. So you can choose options from across human and physical geography in each year. If, say, you get to second year and think, do you know what, I'm more of a physical geographer, you can switch from the BA to the BSc. So the logic of the program really tries to take that strength of geography, that it's physical and human, and enable our students to really build the program that they need, that meets their interests and their requirements for what they want to go out and do after they've studied with us. So there's really a lot of flexibility there. And as I said, the size of the department means that we cover pretty much all the bases in geography, on the physical side, ecology, hydrology, pollution, climate change, quaternary studies, biogeography, and then on the social side, the BA side, political geography, cultural geography, economic, social, environmental. So it's very flexible from that point of view. The two tweaks are the study abroad program and the professional placement program. Those are both 4-year programs. So on the study abroad program, the third year, you'd go and study at a university overseas. And we have agreements with, well, I think now it's hundreds of universities around the world. Our students, popular ones, are often in Australia, Canada, Hong Kong, Singapore, the US, obviously the English speaking ones, but there's a whole wealth of choice there. Um, the professional placement, you spend your third year working for an organization, um, and that obviously, grows your network, grows your skills, gets you some really practical experience, and that professional placement is usually paid as well. So you've got those kind of three routes: the standard 3-year or the 4-year with international study or professional placement. Just in terms of grades, the standard BA BSc is two A's and a B. The 4-year program, study abroad and professional placement, are three A's. Again, there's complete flexibility. If you come in on a BA or BSc and you want to switch on to the professional placement or study abroad, as long as you achieve a 2-1 at the end of your first year, then you can switch on to one of those programs. And equally, you can switch between the programs in any direction you wish.
Brilliant. And we,
Ellie, do you want to talk through the years as well? Give a quick rundown of what happens in each year.
yeah, that would be fantastic. And then actually, I've got a question as well that's just come through, which is actually about the year abroad. So maybe if I could ask that first, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so this is, what kind of things can you expect to study on a year abroad? So is that linked to kind of topics that you're interested in, or do you have any examples of students who have studied something when they went to one of those universities, which seems like there's so many that you could go to? A really, really fantastic opportunity.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, you'd go into a geography program at whichever university you went to, um, because you still have to pass that year to get your degree overall with us. You don't get a mark for the year, but you have to pass it. So it really reflects whatever they teach, which of course is part of the wider experience of a year abroad, because universities in different countries are organized in quite different ways. So you go to Australia, for example, and universities are organized in a much more modular fashion. So you take a degree program, but it's made up of bits from all over the university. It's far less constrained into departments. So let's say you went to Melbourne, one of the Melbourne universities, onto a geography program there. You'd be doing geography, but you'd probably find you're getting taught by a lot more people who aren't geographers. And you may have more choice from outside of geography. So there's kind of, it's more to do with the differences in how universities structure degrees, would be where that difference would come in.
So if you were, say, really interested in, say, urban areas or, say, climate change, could you pick a university that you think might be good and have good options to study for that? Can you kind of mirror it with what you're interested in?
Absolutely. And so some of the universities are very popular. So Berkeley, San Francisco, UBC in Vancouver, they're two of the most popular ones. And we ask people to write a cover letter explaining why that university is the right fit for their year abroad. And the more detail people can give around how the program and the courses they might take that year fits with their interests, and say what they want to do for a dissertation or what they want to do after their degree, then the better chance they stand.
And for the year in industry, I'm putting you on the spot here, but do you have any examples of where people have actually done their year in industry?
That's a very good question, Ellie. You are putting me on the spot. That's a new program.
Okay.
So my understanding is that the first cohort on that program are currently are currently, what's the word, securing placements at the moment for next year. So I'll have a decent answer for that next year. But obviously, when we put the program together, we have a very good idea of the kinds of organisations we work with as a department, and that engage with the university. And it's a mix of private industry, public sector, and charities for the most part.
Brilliant. I think it's such a good opportunity when students can get the opportunity to either go abroad and study or have a year in industry, because you kind of know you're coming back. It's kind of like that safe space of trying something, but then you're still kind of within the security that you've got your university and degree. So particularly, for example, living abroad, say like in Vancouver, you might never do that again in your life. So a great opportunity for a university to be able to offer that to you. And that's actually the course, the year abroad one, is that I think the student that I teach has signed up for. So very exciting opportunities from Manchester.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, if you could give us a bit of an overview. So what do actually students maybe expect to study in kind of year 1, year 2 and year 3?
Yeah. So I'll try and be brief, but still give enough detail to give you a flavour. So the first year, the courses are 10 units each. So they're quite small courses, and you get to do 12 of them across the year. You have a tutorial in each semester, which is in small groups of say 8 students, where you meet weekly and have really quite in-depth interactions with your personal tutor. And that's where we really introduce you to the academic life, how university works, how you write essays, how assessment works, some of those basic skills, and you get bedded in. Then we have courses like Key Ideas and Researching Manchester, which are really about skills, whether it's intellectual understandings that inform geography, and that you kind of need to understand what comes next in years 2 and 3, or practical skills. So Researching Manchester gets you out into the local area, not just the city, but the beautiful Peak District that we're lucky enough to have right next to us. So you'll be out in the field collecting samples, getting in the labs. We have one of the best, if not the best, geography lab in the country. And the joy of those courses as well is they expose you to a whole range of staff as well. So you start to get a feel for which topics, which staff members, which approaches you really like. And then there's optional units you take from human and physical geography. So they include things like globalization, creating a sustainable world, environmental processes. What's the other one? Ice Age Britain. One on land cover change in the Amazon, which is new for this year. And then year 2, the development is the courses go to 20 credits. So they're twice as big. So you do half as many of them. So you do 3 in each semester. One of them is a core course. In first semester, that's skills, where you learn all the specific methods of geography. You get to pick which methods you want to engage with, in terms of what you're thinking about doing research for your dissertations, or what you might want to do afterwards. And in the second semester, the core course is dissertation training, and that also includes a second year field trip. And that's obviously a highlight of any geography degree. I know it was of mine. And that's absolutely something that staff and students love. So this year, if we get to go, we'll see. They're meant to go in April, so fingers crossed. But the selection was Morocco, Amsterdam, Brazil, Spain, Czech Republic, and Dublin. And one thing we try and do is get the field courses to reflect the different bits of the discipline, but also set the field courses up to give you training in research methods. So this isn't an old-fashioned bus tour pointing out things of interest. This is really student-led research projects in the field to give you hands-on experience of doing research in different places. And then alongside those two core courses, you get to choose two options in each semester. And we've got a whole range of geography options. Popular ones this year in the second year have been climate change and society, green planet. But you're also allowed to choose options from outside of geography. And I should have said that applies to the first year as well. So you can take what we call free choices, which are from anywhere in the university. So that can be popular ones are often languages, some of the social science modules. So there's quite a lot of flexibility there because we're a very big university. So there's a wealth of choice. And then the third year or final year, because obviously the people on study abroad and placement will have been away and come back, so we call it the final year, is where you get to really focus in on what you're interested in. So there's only one compulsory course in the final year, and it's your dissertation. And that is based on a research topic that you choose, and then you're supported by a specific dissertation advisor. Everything else you do is optional choices, and we have usually 7 or 8 to pick from in each semester, and you take 2 in each semester. They tend to be smaller class sizes, again supported by lectures, supported by seminars, often have day trips and field work attached. So that's really that's where we try and bring you to the cutting edge of what we're doing.
That all looks so interesting, and the field trips in year 2 look amazing. Like the same from like Morocco and Brazil, like they all look fantastic. There has been a question come through. I don't know if you'll be able to answer it. You might have to maybe direct them to the website because I know you're more on the human side. But they're saying, does geomorphology can students study that within a geography degree?
Yeah, absolutely. We have geomorphologists. I, I'm making sure not to classify any colleagues as the wrong thing. Um, but we have people looking at surface processes relating to glaciation, to deserts, aeolian processes. So a whole range of things that I think would be relevant.
Brilliant. And then for everybody watching, if there are any more questions, please just put them in. But we've had a few already, which have been great.
Ellie, just on the field courses,
Yes.
one thing I should add. Um, 2 of these field courses are supposed to be low carbon,
Okay.
so there's options to not fly, and that's in response to an increasing number of our students who don't fly.
Brilliant. Would that be which is like, for example, Dublin?
Dublin and Amsterdam. Oh, and the other one that's coming online for the following year is Skye. So that would be a physical geography no fly
I
offer.
like that modelling because I feel like with everybody loves kind of holidays and trips and exploring as geographers, but yes, it is not very good for our planet when we're thinking about carbon emissions. So that's fantastic from Manchester having a range.
Yeah, it's just trying to reflect that different people want different things and have different principles, and there's nothing wrong with traveling a long way if you're going to do something truly spectacular. And the Brazil one will be spectacular. It's looking at land use change on the edges of the Amazonian forest, drones, the whole piece, interviewing farmers, everything. But equally, if you don't need to burn the carbon, don't burn the carbon.
I completely agree. Both are, yeah, so interesting. But we also, as you said, you've got the Lake District just next door to you as well. So such a kind of, and Manchester as well. You can do that local fieldwork, which is just as valuable and great for students to engage in.
Yeah, hopefully that's the plan.
So you mentioned before, but I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about this, the pre-course field trip. So for students listening, what exactly is a pre-course field trip? And can you tell us some like the benefits of it?
Yeah, so this is a real like Manchester USP. So if you come and study with us the week before Welcome Week, we take you away to Keswick for a 3-day trip. We stay in the Newlands Field Centre, which is just outside Keswick. Do a range of projects in small groups each day, human projects, physical projects, and then in the evenings we have a bit of fun with things like quizzes and competitions. It's a good excuse for staff to all get together at the start of the year. It's a great way for us to get to know our new students, and it's a great way for new students to get to know each other. Um, our students tell us that sometimes they're quite anxious about the idea of going away with all these people they don't know. But then, without fail, all of them say, when we ask them how their degree was, they all say Keswick was a real highlight because they made lifelong friends. Lifelong friends at Keswick. Keswick has spawned marriages, would you believe, down the line. And, I reflect on my degree, and maybe at the end of 3 years, I knew maybe a third of my year and maybe 5 or 6 members of staff to speak to. By the end of Keswick, you will know half your year and 10 or 15 members of staff. So it's really good from that point of view, and it really sets the tone for that culture of friendliness, down to earthness, and working together that I think is really the USP of what we do, and all the other good stuff that we do is built on that.
Brilliant. I completely agree. And also the idea of kind of joining a big university can be so daunting. So having that smaller time away with students who you all have that common interest in, because you've all signed up for a geography degree, means that you kind of feel a bit more secure when you do start joining your halls and freshers. You've kind of met these people before. So it's quite good for that transition. And geographers always get on with other geographers, which is great.
Yeah, a pretty sociable bunch.
A question has just come through on, because kind of next we're going to talk about kind of where students can go to next, or if there's any further information that you have. But this is quite a good one just kind of generally, so it'd be nice to hear what you say. What do you think stands out on a personal statement when someone is applying for a geography course?
Oh, that is a good question. I mean, it sounds like a bit of a cliche, but just passion, like genuine passion. For me, the ones where it reads like a shopping list, where people have been told, well, you need to prove that you've got a hobby, and it's good if you can say you play a sport and speak a language and all this stuff. And, that's all good stuff. That's fine. But what really makes them sing and really makes them stand out is if your own character comes through a bit. So I guess that would be my advice. Don't feel like you have to adopt some fairly beige standard approach. Let your own interests and passion and points of view come through. Tell us what you're passionate about and what gets you going, because that's what we're interested in.
Fantastic advice. So for students who are interested in finding out more, where can they go? And are there any kind of final words on kind of, obviously we want your applications next year from you on kind of studying geography at Manchester?
Yes, so hopefully you've got a slide there with a few details. So we've got an Instagram at GeographyUOM. We've got a Twitter with the same handle at GeographyUOM. We've got a Facebook. One other thing we have, which is great, is our Geography Society, Manchester University Geography Society, mugs. They're also on Facebook. They organise loads of stuff. We actually did a joint staff student quiz with them last week. Guess who? Lockdown quiz. And then obviously there's all the official avenues to get information to the website, seed.manchester.ac.uk/geography. Our director of admissions, Chris Darvill, excellent. He has many, many answers. He's also a physical geographer, so if you have specific questions there, email him. Look at the staff on our website. Feel free to email any of us. I think on that university website now, there's also the option to actually chat with some of our existing students as well. So feel free to make use of any of that stuff. We also got a YouTube channel as well, which you should be able to search for that and find it too. Which, if you want to see some ridiculous videos of people doing silly things on field courses and generally having fun in the field, there's some on there, I think.
Fantastic. And I can put those links in the comments below so people can just click on them as well. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to tell us about the wonderful degree options at Manchester. Yeah, definitely inspiring and so much out there for so many different students. So I hopefully everybody will find this useful. So yeah, thank you very much for everybody on the Curious Geographer for being live with us.
Thank you, Ellie. Thank you, everyone.
And I'll just let everybody know just what's happening next. So from me, check out the links. I'll put them down below from Manchester as well. We are going to be speaking to Royal Holloway next, so check that one out as well about their geography degree. But apart from that, everybody have a nice week. And that's everything from me.